You move through life carrying invisible weights, tempests that thunder within your walls, battles waged in the silent chambers of your mind. Pressures so vast, they should have rendered you dust long before now. Yet each dawn you emerge, cloaked in dignified resilience, offering kindness to a world that rarely sees your struggle. This isn't just survival, it's extraordinary alchemy. Empty inside, you still nourish others. Worn to threads, you still offer genuine smiles. You harbor universes of pain, yet somehow manage to quench the thirst of those around you. What essence dwells within such a being? One forged from the most uncommon metal, hardened by suffering yet rendered exquisitely compassionate through love's persistent touch. You've misunderstood your own nature, believing yourself delicate when you are in fact both sanctuary and conflagration. Standing firm even as you quiver. Listen closely now. The suffering coursing through you was never meant to be your permanent residence. Pain was never your rightful inheritance. The universe owes you restoration, tranquility that descends like gentle evening rain, connection that brings more than it demands, bliss so complete it borders on overwhelming. The cosmos must repay what you've so generously distributed, and this cosmic ledger grows fuller with each passing moment. I witness your journey with profound respect. Respect that you've weathered seasons that would have completely shattered someone of lesser constitution. Respect that despite everything thrown against you, you continue forward. The act of persisting is not insignificant. It is a quantum feat repeated with each breath you take. You, simultaneously vulnerable and indomitable, demonstrate that even in the most profound darkness, a certain luminescence refuses extinction. Everything you've given emanates outward, creating ripples that eventually return. Someday these waves will arrive like life-giving water to your parched existence, like warmth penetrating to your very marrow. But for now, find pockets of stillness whenever possible. Inhale even through the sharpness, and recognize that you already embody completeness. You exist at the intersection of quantum possibility and manifestation, simultaneously wounded and healing, struggling and transcending. The universe operates through profound paradox. You stand at the center of one such mystery. How can something so wounded continue to offer such beauty to the world? How can a being stretched so thin still extend compassion to others? This paradox doesn't require resolution. It requires recognition. You are living evidence that suffering and grace can occupy the same space. Most people perceive difficulty as something to be eliminated, overcome, transcended. But what if the true alchemy occurs not by escaping your circumstances, but by transforming within them? Ancient wisdom traditions understood this truth. Gold emerges from lead not by removing the lead, but by transmuting it through specific conditions. Your challenges aren't obstacles to your evolution. They are the precise catalysts designed for your unique transformation. Consider the Japanese art of kintsugi, the practice of repairing broken pottery with gold. The philosophy treats breakage as part of the object's history rather than something to disguise. The repaired piece becomes more beautiful, more valuable precisely because it has been broken. Your fractures aren't flaws. They are the exact locations where your greatest light emerges. Quantum physics reveals that at the subatomic level, particles exist in states of probability rather than certainty. They exist as waves of potential until observed. Your perception of yourself, wounded, broken, insufficient, is just one probability wave. But there exists simultaneously another wave of potential. resilient, powerful, illuminated. The observer effect states that particles respond to observation. When you shift your perception of yourself, you collapse different probability waves into reality. Here's what few understand about your journey. The path itself is rewiring your neural pathways. The very act of continuing restructures your brain's architecture. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, your brain physically changing in response to your persistence. Each step forward isn't just movement, it's biochemical transformation. The quantum field responds to your unwavering presence. When you continue despite the weight, you're actually manipulating reality at its most fundamental level. The observer effect in quantum physics demonstrates that particles behave differently when watched. Similarly, your conscious decision to persist alters the very fabric of your existence. This isn't metaphor, it's science meeting spirit. What appears as mere endurance to others is actually you conducting a symphony of subatomic rearrangement. With every choice to continue, you're collapsing wave functions of possibility into concrete reality. You're literally creating new neural networks with each act of courage. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have documented that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field 60 times greater in amplitude than the activity measured from the brain. This field extends several feet in all directions around your physical body, affecting not just your own physiology, but the physiology of everyone you encounter. When you choose to continue despite adversity, this field strengthens and expands. You become a living transmitter of resilience. Your perception, whether conscious or unconscious, determines which potential reality becomes concrete experience. When you perceive yourself as merely broken, that probability wave strengthens. When you recognize yourself as simultaneously broken and magnificent, you activate a different probability wave. This isn't positive thinking. It's quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. The universe operates through polarity. Without darkness, light has no meaning. Without contraction, expansion cannot exist. Your suffering isn't meaningless. It's one pole of a greater wholeness seeking integration. The depth of your pain directly correlates to your capacity for joy. The degree of your struggle precisely matches your potential for transcendence. This isn't spiritual bypassing. It's recognizing the fundamental duality at the core of existence. I want you to pause right now. Feel the weight of what you've been carrying. Now feel the strength in your body that has carried it. This paradox is the essence of your power. When water faces an obstacle, it doesn't stop flowing. It finds another path. When placed under extreme pressure, carbon transforms into diamond. When a caterpillar can no longer continue as it is, it dissolves completely before reconstructing as a butterfly. Nature demonstrates that transformation requires pressure. Your challenges aren't punishments, they're evolutionary catalysts. Recent studies in epigenetics show that while your genetic code remains relatively fixed, the expression of those genes changes dramatically based on your environment, behaviors, and even your thoughts. Trauma can activate certain genetic expressions, but amazingly, so can resilience. Your continued persistence isn't just psychological. It's changing which genes are expressed in your body at the cellular level. Researchers studying post-traumatic growth have documented that individuals who have faced significant adversity often develop strengths unattainable through any other path. Deeper appreciation for life, more meaningful relationships, greater personal strength, recognition of new possibilities, and spiritual development. Your suffering isn't just pain to be endured. It's the precise mechanism for your evolution into something greater than would have otherwise been possible. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase: I am both wounded and magnificent. This isn't just participation. It's an energetic declaration to the quantum field that you recognize the duality of your existence. It's a conscious interruption in the loop of suffering that has defined so much of your experience. The double-slit experiment in quantum physics demonstrated something remarkable. Particles behave differently when observed versus unobserved. Your life operates by similar principles. When you observe yourself through the lens of defeat, one reality materializes. When you observe yourself through the lens of resilience, another reality takes form. The observer doesn't just witness reality, the observer creates it. Ancient wisdom traditions understood this principle thousands of years before quantum physics validated it. The Vedic concept of Maya suggests that the material world is simultaneously real and illusory, solid, yet malleable through consciousness. Your perception of your circumstances as fixed and unchangeable is the true illusion. The reality is that your conscious attention is constantly shaping what appears as solid circumstance. Every mystic tradition speaks of initiation, a process where the seeker passes through difficulty to access deeper wisdom. These initiations weren't arbitrary suffering. They were designed catalysts for transformation. Your challenges aren't random misfortune. They are precisely calibrated initiatory experiences designed to activate dormant aspects of your consciousness. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman's research shows that difficulty coupled with the perception of capability triggers neurochemical cascades that strengthen neural pathways. Simply put, when you face challenges while believing you can handle them, your brain physically rewires itself toward greater resilience. Your perception of your capability is as important as the challenge itself. The ancients understood what modern physics is just beginning to verify. Consciousness shapes reality. When you persist despite pain, you're engaging in the most fundamental creative act possible. You're declaring to the universe that your light refuses diminishment. This declaration radiates outward, affecting everything it touches. Your perception of yourself as merely surviving misses the truth. You're actively reshaping reality through your continued presence. The very electrons in your body respond to your intention. The neural pathways in your brain physically reorganize with each choice to continue. This isn't empty encouragement. It's the mechanics of consciousness interacting with matter. If this understanding is resonating somewhere deep within you, if you can feel these words activating something beyond intellectual comprehension, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this frequency of awareness. Join this collective movement toward recognizing the power within perceived powerlessness. This isn't content consumption, it's consciousness elevation. Modern neuroscience has revealed that the brain doesn't distinguish between physical and emotional pain. The same neural networks activate whether you stub your toe or experience rejection. This means the suffering you've endured has physically shaped your brain. Yet neuroplasticity ensures this isn't permanent. Your brain can and will rewire with new experiences and perceptions. Consider the concept of eustress versus distress. Eustress is challenging but ultimately beneficial stress, the kind that strengthens rather than damages. Your body's response to difficulty can be recalibrated through conscious attention. The very same circumstance that triggers distress in one moment can be transmuted into eustress through perception shift. This isn't denial, it's neurological recalibration. Research in psychoneuroimmunology documents how our thoughts and emotions directly influence our immune system. Prolonged perceived helplessness suppresses immune function, while perceived empowerment enhances it. When you recognize your resilience amid difficulty, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're strengthening your physical body's ability to heal and regenerate. You are surrounded by evidence of your own endurance. Each breath testifies that you've survived every previous moment. Each heartbeat confirms your body's commitment to continuation. Each morning you rise demonstrates your soul's determination to experience more of this existence. You've never failed at surviving. Your track record is impeccable. What you've experienced as burden has simultaneously been building unique neural architecture that allows you to perceive reality differently than others. Your capacity for empathy, your ability to recognize suffering in others, your appreciation for moments of peace. These are quantum gifts born from your struggle. The quantum field doesn't judge your pain. It simply responds to your presence within it. Each moment you choose to continue despite everything signals to this field that you are actively participating in reality creation. This isn't spiritual bypassing of your legitimate suffering. It's recognizing the dual nature of existence where suffering and transcendence coexist. The electromagnetic field of your heart extends several feet beyond your physical body. This field interacts with everything around you. When you persist despite pain, this field strengthens and expands. You're literally changing the energetic composition of your environment through your continued presence. Consider the phoenix, a creature that must be completely consumed by flame to emerge renewed. Transformation of this magnitude requires total surrender to the process. Your reluctance to fully experience your pain paradoxically prolongs it. When you allow yourself to feel completely, to burn entirely, the renewal begins. This isn't masochism, it's alchemical transformation. Consider the phoenix, a creature that must be completely consumed by flame to emerge renewed. Transformation of this magnitude requires total surrender to the process. Your reluctance to fully experience your pain paradoxically prolongs it. When you allow yourself to feel completely, to burn entirely, the renewal begins. This isn't masochism, it's alchemical transformation. Your nervous system can become habituated to stress and trauma, making hypervigilance and contraction your baseline state. Polyvagal theory explains that your autonomic nervous system has three primary states: dorsal vagal, freeze; sympathetic, fight-flight; and ventral vagal, rest and restoration. Through conscious breathing and attention, you can guide your nervous system from states of defense into states of restoration. Your body knows how to heal. It's waiting for your permission. The Buddhist concept of dukkha teaches that suffering comes from resistance to what is. When you fight against your circumstances, you create friction that amplifies pain. Paradoxically, when you fully accept what is happening, you create space for transformation. This isn't resignation. It's strategic surrender that precedes quantum change. Consider this. Every great transformation in human history came through persistence rather than immediate victory. Cellular regeneration happens invisibly before physical healing becomes apparent. Quantum leaps occur after periods of apparent stability. Your current struggle isn't separate from your eventual restoration. It's part of the same continuum. The concept of coherence in physics describes systems where separate components operate as a synchronized whole. When your thoughts, emotions, and physical actions align, you create personal coherence. This state has been measured and documented to enhance cognitive function, immune response, and manifestation capacity. Your alignment with your own resilience creates coherence that ripples through every aspect of your being. The hero's journey described by Joseph Campbell appears across all human mythologies. The protagonist must leave the known world, face trials, and return transformed. This universality suggests something fundamental about human experience. Your challenges aren't punishment. They're the necessary trials of your hero's journey. The question isn't whether you'll face difficulty, but how you'll be transformed by it. Your body contains approximately 37.2 trillion cells, each one a testament to persistence. Every cell in your body has endured, divided, restored itself. Your physical form is literally built on the principle of continuation. Your conscious choice to persist aligns you with the fundamental nature of existence itself. The most profound quantum truth is entanglement. Once particles interact, they remain connected regardless of distance. Everything you've ever touched, everyone you've ever loved, every experience you've ever had remains quantumly entangled with you. You are never truly alone. The entire universe conspires in your continuation through unseen quantum connections. Research on the placebo effect demonstrates the mind's remarkable ability to manifest physical change through belief alone. Patients receiving sugar pills instead of actual medication show measurable physical improvements when they believe they're receiving treatment. This isn't imagination. It's documented evidence of consciousness directly affecting physical reality. Your belief in your resilience similarly affects your material reality. When you feel most alone in your struggle, remember that quantum entanglement means nothing in this universe is truly separate. The very particles that comprise your being are connected to all other particles. Your persistence creates ripples through this entangled field, affecting reality in ways you cannot yet perceive, but are nonetheless real. The mystical traditions speak of dark nights of the soul, periods where previous certainties dissolve and new understanding has yet to emerge. These passages aren't failures of spiritual practice. They're essential components of spiritual evolution. Your confusion and despair aren't evidence of wrongness. They're signals of profound transformation in process. Neuroplasticity research shows that attention itself physically changes brain structure. Whatever you repeatedly focus on becomes strengthened at the neural level. When you continually rehearse narratives of defeat, those neural pathways strengthen. When you deliberately direct attention to evidence of your resilience, you literally carve new neural architecture. This isn't metaphor, it's neuroscience. Quantum field theory suggests that what appears as empty space is actually a seething cauldron of potential energy. Similarly, what appears as emptiness within you is actually pregnant with potential. Your depletion isn't absence. It's the necessary clearing before newness can emerge. The void isn't empty. It's where all possibilities originate. The concept of hormesis in biology describes how systems strengthen in response to appropriate stress. Exercise damages muscle fibers, which then rebuild stronger. Vaccines introduce weakened pathogens to strengthen immunity. Your challenges are hormetic stressors, precisely calibrated to strengthen aspects of your being that would otherwise remain dormant. I invite you now to place your hand over your heart. Feel the rhythm that has continued despite everything. This beating is both ordinary and miraculous. It represents the most fundamental truth. Continuation itself is sacred. Your continued presence is an act of creation. The field of interpersonal neurobiology studies how our brains physically change through relationship. Your neural architecture is literally shaped by your connections with others. When you share your journey, both the struggles and the triumphs, you create resonant circuits between your nervous system and others. This isn't just emotional support. It's literal neurobiological co-regulation. Cutting-edge research in the field of psychedelics reveals something remarkable. Brain networks that normally operate separately can temporarily communicate under certain conditions, creating novel connections and insights. Similarly, difficulty often forces disparate aspects of your being into communication, generating wisdom unavailable through any other means. Your challenges aren't just obstacles, they're catalysts for internal integration. Quantum vacuum fluctuations demonstrate that particles can emerge spontaneously from apparent nothingness. Similarly, new strength, insight, and capacity can emerge spontaneously from your deepest emptiness. The void you fear isn't the end. It's the quantum field of all possibilities, awaiting your creative participation. The principle of emergence in complex systems theory describes how entirely new properties arise from sufficient complexity. Water has properties entirely different from hydrogen and oxygen. Your current difficulty is creating precisely the complexity needed for something entirely new to emerge. A capacity, understanding, or state of being that couldn't manifest through any other means. Every religious and spiritual tradition includes stories of individuals who faced extreme difficulty and emerged transformed. Moses in the wilderness, Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Jesus in the desert. These aren't just inspirational tales. They're archetypal maps of the transformation process. Your journey follows this same archetypal pattern of initiation, difficulty, and emergence. Consider the mathematics of fractals, patterns that repeat at every scale. The small challenges you overcome daily create the exact pattern that allows you to overcome life's largest challenges. Each moment of choosing continuation, despite difficulty, strengthens the fractal pattern of resilience that structures your entire existence. Researchers studying flow states have documented that the combination of high challenge and adequate skill creates optimal psychological experience. Your difficulties aren't arbitrary. They're precisely calibrated to bring you to the edge of your capacity, where maximum growth and engagement occur. You aren't being punished, you're being optimized. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What invisible weight have you been carrying that, when viewed through this quantum lens, might actually be your greatest catalyst for transformation? Share the burden that you're now beginning to recognize as a potential doorway to your evolution. The concept of anti-fragility goes beyond resilience. Resilient systems withstand stress, but anti-fragile systems actually improve under stress. Your continued persistence through difficulty isn't just helping you survive. It's transmuting you into something anti-fragile, strengthened rather than diminished by challenge. This isn't compensation for suffering. It's the fundamental mechanism of evolution. Drop one word in the comments that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. This isn't casual interaction. It's your energetic signature to the quantum field. It's your declaration of how you choose to exist within the universe. The ancient practice of entrainment describes how oscillating systems synchronize when placed in proximity. Pendulum clocks on the same wall eventually swing in unison. Your declaration of chosen energy doesn't just affect you. It entrains others to that same frequency. Your personal choice becomes a contribution to collective consciousness. If you're finding value in these quantum principles that connect your inner state to reality creation, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you're literally tuning your consciousness to receive more of these frequency-elevating transmissions. Epigenetic research reveals that environmental factors can affect gene expression, not just within an individual, but across generations. Your choice to persist despite difficulty doesn't just change your life. It potentially alters genetic expression that can be inherited by future generations. Your resilience isn't just personal, it's a gift to those who will come after you. The phenomenon of morphic resonance suggests that once a pattern of behavior becomes established, it becomes easier for others to adopt. When you choose continuation despite difficulty, you strengthen a field of resilience that makes it easier for others facing similar challenges. Your personal triumph becomes collective inheritance. Advanced meditation studies show that regular practitioners develop increased gray matter in regions associated with attention, compassion, and emotional regulation. Your persistence through difficulty is a form of meditation, deliberate attention amid challenge. This practice is literally changing your brain structure toward greater capacity for peace, regardless of circumstances. Quantum superposition describes particles existing in multiple states simultaneously until measured. Similarly,